Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is a complete review of the Moto Edge 30 Ultra after 30 days of usage. Right now in India, this phone is available in two variants. Base variant that comes with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage is priced at 55,000 rupees, and the next variant is priced at 60,000 rupees and it comes with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Well, when compared to the launch prices, right now there's at least a 5,000 difference, and that's definitely a pretty good thing. I've used this phone as my primary phone for about 30 days, so now let me tell you what's good and bad about this phone. So we'll start off the review with the design and build. Now, the design of the phone is definitely one of the best things about this phone. Most of the premium flagship phones that are available in this particular price segment definitely looks pretty good, but most of them have a flat screen. They are slightly on the thicker side or on the bulkier side. Well, this phone is pretty sleek, it fits pretty comfortably in the hand, and because of the curved screen, this phone also feels pretty thin. It has a thickness of 8.4 mm and weighs about 198 grams. Weight distribution has been done really well, and the phone doesn't feel heavy at all. Like, it feels as if it's a 150 or 170 gram phone. So when it comes to weight distribution, Moto definitely has nailed it. Now coming to the design part once again, I have tried using this phone without the case, and I must say the experience wasn't that great. First of all, I'm not a really big fan of going without a case, and besides that, the edges on this phone are a bit too sharp. Like, it gets a bit annoying or irritating, especially for me. But if you put on the case, everything's fine, no problem whatsoever. So it's not a big deal, and I guess most of you will be using a case, so it's not going to be a problem. Now this one comes with IP52 IP rating, and I wish it could have been better, but considering all of the factors, I'll say it's pretty decent as well. Now this one also comes with a good haptic engine, and you can feel that haptic engine working at many places, and it has a good feel to it. That's another thing that I like about it. In the hardware department, this phone comes with all the basic sensors that you can ask for. It has dual SIM support, we got 4G and 5G as well, and these are the bands that are supported. So most of the bands in India are also supported, so you can use it with Jio or Airtel without any issues. There's no SD card option, but if you want more storage, directly go for the 256GB variant. Now when it comes to the display, this phone comes with a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus POLED display with a peak brightness of 1250 nits. It also got a 144Hz screen refresh rate, it has HDR10+ support, and both the front and back have a Corning Gorilla Glass 5. Now, the display obviously looks pretty amazing because of the punch hole design and the curved sides. Right out of the box, there really isn't anything to complain, but when you slightly tilt your phone, you can see a bit of greenish tint to the edges. That might be more visible for someone beside you, but as a user, I didn't have a lot of issues with that. For most of my gaming or watching videos on the phone, I didn't have any major issues. Everything was great, the display brightness specifically is really great. You can watch videos even outdoors without much issues. Obviously it will drain a bit more battery, but we do have that option. And about watching those videos, yes, this phone comes with dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos as well, and the speakers sound really great. And that's another thing that I really love about this phone. Now coming to the software part, this phone is running Android 12, and as of right now, it's got the October security patch. Now this phone will get 3 years of software updates up to Android 15 and will also get 4 years of security updates. Now let me tell you my initial software experience. So first of all, this phone did have many software issues. Like sometimes when I use the camera application for a bit more time, like 5 to 10 minutes continuously, phone used to automatically turn off, and some of my photos, especially portrait shots, did get corrupted initially. And there were some minor lags in the UI as well, but all those issues have been fixed with the latest update. I don't know which specific update it was, but as of right now, I don't have any of those software issues. Phone is buttery smooth, all the animations look really good, and that 144Hz display makes everything look much more smooth as well. Now on this Motorola phone, it's like pure stock Android with just that Moto app, and we don't have tons of software features that you can find on say like Realme, Oppo or Vivo phones. But the few software features that Moto provides are really useful. Whether it's the chop gesture or the flip phone gesture to open the camera application, they are pretty handy, and the peak display feature on Moto works really well. Like, we have seen always on display and similar features on other phones, but the peak display feature on this phone is definitely pretty unique and it works really well, and you also get a nice haptic feedback every time you use it, which gives it again a very nice experience. So in the software department, once again, no major issues, and I really love the limited set of features Moto has to offer, and they are super handy. Now let's talk about the performance. This phone is one of the few phones that have been launched in the second half of 2022, which comes with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Plus processor. Now, its previous iterations, Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, had some heating issues. We have seen it in most of the flagships as well. So compared to that processor, the new 8 Plus Gen 1 processor offers better performance, better power efficiency, and doesn't have those heating issues as well. So that's another good thing about this phone. And just like you could expect from a Snapdragon's flagship, performance is top notch. I didn't notice any kinds of hiccups no matter what kind of game I'm playing. You can play games like PUBG and Call of Duty without any issues or without any kind of lag. So that's definitely great for people who are interested in gaming. So overall, in terms of performance, it's definitely top notch and there are absolutely no complaints. Now finally, when it comes to cameras, this phone has a triple camera setup on the rear with a 200 megapixel primary camera with optical image stabilization, followed by a 12 megapixel telephoto lens and a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with 114 degree field of view. For selfies, we get a 60 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture. Now the primary 200 megapixel camera on this phone does take some pretty good pictures. All the images look pretty good, skin tone looks good, it's actually close to accurate skin tones, and the colors also look a bit more natural. In daylight shots, colors are close to reality and overall look very well balanced. Even in low lighting conditions, it does take some pretty good pictures. They're not too bright, but there's not a lot of noise, and once again looks pretty close to reality. When there are lights in the photo facing the lens, Moto does a good job in balancing the shadows and lights as well. Now when it comes to selfies, once again they do look good, dynamic range is nice. For portrait selfies and portrait shots, once again they do look good. Edge detection is also nice. Once again, skin tone specifically looks much more realistic, and especially for portrait selfies, they are a bit on the softer side. Now when it comes to video recording, we can actually record 8K footage on this phone, which actually looks pretty good, but there's no stabilization. Here's a quick preview of the 8K footage downscaled to 1080p. Next, we can also record video in 4K resolution. Once again, footage looks pretty good. We do get stabilization, but it can be further improved. Next, this is the actual 1080p footage. Once again, it looks pretty good and the footage stabilization is also pretty good. For 1080p resolution, we don't have the stabilization toggle. So overall, cameras on this phone are definitely good and they're definitely worth the price. Specifically speaking, it does take better photos than when it comes to video recording. Anyway, it's overall pretty good. Oh, I seem to be forgetting about the battery department, so I'll just talk about it now. This phone comes with a 4610 mAh battery, also comes with a 120 watt turbo power charger inside the box. This phone also supports wireless charging up to 50 watts, which is pretty good and better than most other phones in this price segment. And finally, we also have reverse wireless charging, which Moto calls the wireless power sharing, up to 10 watts. It's really nice to have features like wireless charging and reverse wireless charging when you spend more than 50,000. I'm saying this specifically because OnePlus 10T doesn't have wireless charging, and most of the other phones as well. Anyway, coming back to the phone, it just takes about 30 minutes to completely charge your phone from 0 to 100%. In just 10 minutes, you can get up to 40% of charge. That's from 0 to 40. So the charging speeds are incredibly fast. Let's say if you're just going out and you're low on battery, you just need to charge your phone for 10 minutes to get on with your work. And that's super handy. Like, it saved me tons of times. As for battery life, on average, I got easily from 6 to 8 hours of screen on time, like most of the time. If I used it heavily in the day, I got about 6 to 6.5 hours of screen on time. And if I used it lightly, I could easily get about 8 hours of battery life. And once again, if you're ever low on battery, you can just charge your phone for 10 minutes to get a great boost. So charging speed on this phone is definitely another thing that I really like about this phone. So guys, to conclude, Moto Edge 30 Ultra is definitely one of the best flagships under 60,000 rupees, period. It has got the looks, it looks pretty sleek, pretty thin. It's got the curved screen, which definitely looks much better than other flat screens. It's got wireless charging, IP rating, reverse wireless charging, great camera specifically, and super fast charging speeds. Well, performance is obviously a given at this price segment. So it's definitely a very good flagship phone under 60,000 rupees. and I would suggest you to get the 12GB variant if possible. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you are planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. With that said, this is Nikhil signing off. See you in my next video.